My people, now Voices of Vigilance, they welcome una for this edition. Plenty basketballs for inside Niger. Niger don't become one day one trouble, no be 1 week again. No. For inside this episode, we go show now as Arise TV take analyze Omoyele Sowore's arrest, as they say, in followers where they arrest breach the court order. For inside the same episode though, we go still show now waiting active voice barrister Inibehe Effiong talk concerning Sowore's defense for Channels TV interview. Better tori boku for this episode, make una no come up because why he get other active voices we chook mouth and take their own documentary look inside this same matter. Before them people make we update you about the Kanu matter as it takes time now and how Arise TV people take care.
Well done. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending, focusing on reactions trailing the trial of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous peoples of Biafra, which is set to commence today, Friday, October 24th. The trial was adjourned on Thursday after Kanu dismissed his entire team of senior advocates. The dramatic courtroom development came as Kanu declared his intention to represent himself. The courtroom was thrown into surprise. Kanu's lead counsel, Kanu Agabi, SAN, subsequently announced his withdrawal alongside other prominent senior advocates. When Justice Omotosho had invited Kanu to open his defense, he began by challenging the court's jurisdiction to continue the trial, but the judge overruled him, insisting that the case must proceed. This dramatic development follows Kanu's earlier notice listing 23 individuals, including high-profile government officials, as witnesses. Meanwhile, shortly after the trial, armed police arrested activist Omoyele Sowore outside the Federal High Court. Sowore had attended the trial of Nnamdi Kanu and was reportedly escorted by security operatives who insisted that they were acting on instructions from the Commissioner of Police.
So you said the Commissioner of Police said you should arrest me?
Yes, we are not
over what?
To bring you to the office.
By force?
Is it by force? I'm not holding you.
No, you said that. So why you then have? So we didn't bring a letter of invitation now.
Somebody.
That's not your business. When did you start telling people how to wear their clothes? Even though you know what you are doing is bad, so
I'm not doing anything bad.
No problem.
What's your family?
Well, you know we had to stand for you when they oppressed you. So if you are standing for oppression, you know the problem.
Just follow us.
Well, following Sowore's arrest, police spokesman Benjamin Hundeyin held a press conference saying that Sowore was arrested for allegedly directing some of the detained Free Nnamdi Kanu protesters to violate a subsisting court order that barred demonstrators from converging in certain areas of Abuja. Let's take a look.
The 13 people that were arrested previously all gave their statements, and there is a constant in all of their statements. Every one of them mentioned that one Omoyele Sowore led them into the restricted area in contravention of the court order. So it will be most unfair to charge some people to court and leave the person that led them to commit that more like their leader, the lead protester who told them and took them into the restricted area. And that's why in the spirit of fair play and to ensure that justice is served, Omoyele Sowore was arrested today, and like the others too, he wouldn't spend time with us. He wouldn't spend up to 24 hours with us. Once we wrap up the charges, he's going to be prosecuted. In fact, if everything goes right, our plan is to ensure that he is prosecuted today. He goes to court today.
All right, I'll take some reactions on X. This person wrote, so they suddenly realized their blunder. Arrested Kanu's brother and lawyer, left out the main organizer of the protest. Then remembered, oh, right, Sowore's an activist. Now it's all damage control disguised as fairness. Classic medicine after death. Well, Saddam wrote, the Nigeria police force acted within its mandate, ensuring fairness, accountability, and balance before the law. No one is above due process, not even activists. If the goal is justice, then the police deserve commendation for maintaining law and order while allowing the legal process take its course. Finally, another ex-user wrote, so now, Protesting is gradually becoming a crime. In the Nigerian state, I see that the government is really taking us for granted. What I'm very sure is that a day will come when Nigerians will pull out in millions to say enough is enough. And that's the rhetoric. I mean, it's the fact that the police had come out to bar some certain areas, and now they are saying that Sowore led those people that are detained, including Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer and brother. And so that is why they've arrested Sowore at this moment. I haven't seen if they have released him, because as you heard Benjamin Hundeyin yesterday saying that he was going to be charged and hopefully be arraigned. Ayo, your thoughts on it?
All right. So one of the things that we've decried a number of times is the intolerance of this administration to dissenting voices, and also put that side by the Nigerian citizens' right to peaceful protest. Recall that we'd also said that the court order had been obtained, but some of the protesters, some lawyers there had said that they didn't see any court order. And if indeed there was a court order, they had said there were some specific areas in Abuja that was not supposed to be, where protests shouldn't happen. One, Aso Villa, the National Assembly, and a few other places like that. What this demonstrates with regards to Omoyele Sowore and the other, Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, is that people would then become afraid to exercise their right to peaceful protest. And in a democracy, as we keep on saying, it doesn't look good, it is not right. And we believe that as a true Democrat, the President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration should not be one whereby there's a lack of respect for the constitutionally guaranteed rights of the citizens. And that's what we're calling for. If they're going to arrest Omoyele Sowore, they should arrest everybody that went out to protest, so that we would really say that they're very serious about it. Yes. But I think it's very important that we keep on speaking up for this. We will not sit and watch whilst the rights of the citizens are eroded. I know that Omoyele Sowore will not sit this out. And some people have said he's going to cash out, because by the time he sues or counter-sues for damages, maybe they'll hear it. But I think it should be tested in the courts as to the right or the extent of the right of the citizen to protest. We cannot keep silent or keep the people's mouths shut. Like one of the ex-users said, if we do this, there's only as much as can push people to the wall. Let us take the example of Nepal and some other countries where the young people have become so tired and now resorted to even violent extremities to send home their points. Let us not get to that point. Let every Nigerian citizen's voice be heard, as long as it is done in the right way. They broke no laws, they were not violent. In fact, it was the police that tear gassed them very early in the morning. We mustn't have this on our watch.
So, I mean, those areas that they talked about, they touched on, including Aso Rock Villa, National Assembly. I don't think that I saw any, because I did monitor the protests. I don't think I saw them in those areas at all. They started from the Hilton and then they were all around. But I wanted to just touch on also the fact that Nnamdi Kanu is going to defend himself. I'll take a post on X and I'll come to you because I know that you want to speak. This person wrote on X, Mazin Nnamdi Kanu has every right to defend himself, but it is often wiser to let a lawyer handle the battle. The courtroom is not a place for emotion, but for skill, and a good lawyer can turn rights into real results. You wanted to add something quickly on that, then I go to Rufai.
Very quickly. My confusion, which I hope the police can clarify for us, is that when the first information report was released for those 13 who were arrested, their offences included criminal conspiracy, disobedience of a lawful order, inciting disturbance, and disturbance of public peace. However, now, and there was also the issue around singing war cries. But now the main issue for Sowore is they're saying that it is contravening the court order. So the concern is that all of their offences are different. If you get what I mean. So where's the uniformity in, they're being given the same treatment. However, it's not clear what the real issue is.
I think the real issue is that they came out to protest despite a court order, right? Is that what you were saying?
So what I'm saying is that the others, their main issues were inciting public disturbance and they were singing war songs, right? However, for Sowore, it's contravening the court order. However, when it came to contravening the court order, the police repelled them. They used tear gas. They say they didn't fire bullets, but they didn't actually get to the place that would allow them to contravene the court order, is the point that I was trying to make.
talking about due process, at the end of the day, we have to respect court orders. And this is what Sowore is fighting for as well. Your thoughts on Nnamdi Kanu defending himself?
Okay, but I'll start with Sowore first. But you also have to respect the Constitution. You have a right of peaceful, assemblage in the Constitution. Let me take you back to 2007, 2008. That was what Gani Fawemi went to court to do in the Buhari case, where it was said, and the Supreme Court said that, please, you do not have any right to stop any protest. You don't even need police permits. So you see this colonial relic called the Nigerian police force, which always thinks force is everything, and makes these allegations against the protest. I think when you're asking who disrupted public peace, it is the police that disrupted public peace. Because when they started firing tear gas and causing unnecessary pollution and harm to a lot of people. And there were allegations. Anyway, he has debunked that they didn't fire live rounds. So it's the police that are disrupting public peace in this regard. I think we'll see how this case will pan out. So Sowore is not the first time out to cases like this. As regards to Nnamdi Kanu, he has a right to be able to defend himself. If that's the path he's chosen, I don't think it's a wise path anyway. But if that's the path he's chosen, be my guest.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see how the case goes. It's going to start today, Friday. And I believe they gave him about 90 days, or he requested for 90 days to close. What a dramatic turn of events.
Oh yes, my people, the Nnamdi Kanu matter don't dey more interesting because our people talk say waiting there for the mind of the person where they hold for ground. Nobody sabi. Make we now enter Sowore's matter. Make you hear waiting Inibehe Effiong talk concerning waiting police accuse him.
Today, Sowore has been arrested by the Nigeria Police Force. And you would ask, why was he arrested? It is very simple. The 13 people that were arrested previously all gave their statements, and there is a constant in all of their statements. Every one of them mentioned that one Omoyele Sowore led them into the restricted area in contravention of the court order. So it will be most unfair to charge some people to court and leave the person that led them to commit that more like their leader, the lead protester who told them and took them into the restricted area. And that's why in the spirit of fair play and to ensure that justice is served, Omoyele Sowore was arrested today, and like the others too, he wouldn't spend time with us. He wouldn't spend up to 24 hours with us. Once we wrap up the charges, he's going to be prosecuted. In fact, if everything goes right, our plan is to ensure that he is prosecuted today. He goes to court today.
Yes. Mazi. You be out. Mazi. It's wrong. Let's see. Yes. Mazi. It's wrong. You be out.
Are you recording us?
I'm not recording you.
I'm recording me. Put that phone down.
This is my younger brother now. What are you upset about?
Put that phone down.
So you said the commissioner of police said should arrest me?
Yes, we are not
over what?
Bring you to the office.
By force?
Is it by force?
Yes, Force PRO, you heard him moments ago explaining the reason for the arrest of the human rights activist and, of course, a presidential candidate of the AAC in the 2023 election, Mr. Omoyele Sowore. So we have a clear picture of what the charges may look like. They infringed the court order restricting the Free Nnamdi Kanu now protesters to certain areas and, of course, restraining them from going to certain areas during their protest. They cited those areas as critical national assets. And of course, Mr. Hundeyin had spoken extensively about that as well the day after the protest on our sister political program. And so Mr. Omoyele Sowore is in police custody now, alongside the brother of Mazin Nnamdi Kanu and his lawyer, Aloy Ejimako. And so we have a clear understanding of what the charges are. But let's talk to one of his associates and, get to know more about how that transpired in court and the implications of these arrests. Let's welcome human rights activist and lawyer, Mr. Inibehe Effiong, who joins us from our Abuja studio. Mr. Effiong, good morning, and thank you for joining us on the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
And, we got wind of the arrests from your post yesterday, telling us that you were present in court. Explain to us how exactly this transpired.
So, Mr. Omoyele Sowore had a case before the Federal High Court yesterday. As you are aware, there are quite a number of criminal charges that have been filed by the Inspector General of Police against Sowore, either for himself, that is IGP Ebetoko, or for some other interests, like Senator Nenwoko and a few others. So yesterday, one of those cases, specifically the one where the IGP claimed that Sowore was wrong by referring to him as illegal IGP, in quotes, came up yesterday and coincided with the continuation of trial in the case of Nnamdi Kanu. Upon the conclusion of the proceedings, Mr. Sowore was exiting the premises of the Federal High Court in Abuja when a retinue of police officers basically waylaid him in front of the Federal High Court in Abuja. Initially, they claimed that, they were not coming to arrest him. The Commissioner of Police FCT had directed them to bring him before him, essentially to take him into custody. And one would have thought that civilized policing demands that they would send an invitation to him. He was not invited, either by phone call, text message, or letter. So they arrested him, took him to the FCT command, where he met a deputy commissioner of police, who claimed that he shouldn't have led protesters to demand for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. After which they took him to a place infamously known as former SARS Abattoir, a place notorious for the killing, slaughter, extortion of Nigerians by the disbanded and now rebranded Special Anti-Robbery Squad. He is currently being detained there. I went to that facility myself. A couple of my colleagues also went there, who are associates of Mr. Sowore. I was denied access to him, despite all the effort that I made, on the basis that I first have to seek clearance from the Commissioner of Police FCT before I could see him. Now, I have listened to the commentaries of Mr. CSP Benjamin Ondeyin, the first public relations officer, where he has said, or where he stated, that they arrested Mr. Sowore because, according to him, it is only fair that having arrested about 13 others, and those persons in their statement indicated that it was Sowore who led them, that it would be unfair to arrest them for protesting, in his own words, in certain restricted areas, without also arresting and prosecuting Mr. Sowore. What bothers me is that I know the gentleman Benjamin Ondeyin from Lagos when he was the police PRO in Lagos. And some of us had cause to work with him, and we felt that he was a fine police officer. But this is Abuja, the capital of iniquity in our country, the capital of corruption in our country, where even people with good intentions are so easily compromised. So I'm not surprised that Ben Ondeyin will make such careless, very utterly irresponsible commentaries, on national television, to say that they arrested Sowore simply in the spirit of fairness, not because he has committed any offense. But let us even get to the substance of the matter. What is the allegation against Sowore? They are saying that Sowore participated or led protests in certain public places in Abuja, which, according to them, the police had gotten an order of court preventing protests for the release of Nnamdi Kanu from holding in those places. The said places include the villa or anywhere close to the villa, the Eagle Square, Shegu Shagari Way, the Court of Appeal, the National Assembly, and a few other places, and the force headquarters. Now, what is the crime that has been committed? Assuming without considering, because at this time we are not even considering that the protest took place in all those places. I, for example, am not aware, you can correct me, that people went to the villa to protest. I am not aware that Sowore was at the National Assembly to protest. I am also not aware that Sowore went to the Court of Appeal to protest, or any other person who has been arrested in connection with this protest. So, pending when the police is able to tell us where exactly these restricted places are, that people actually defied the order of the court and protested, we will still have to give them the benefit of doubt. But assuming the protest actually took place in those places, has any crime been committed? My answer is no, because in a worst case scenario, they will be talking about contempt of court. They can say they are in contempt. But I submit to you that as of this morning, I say on my honor that I have not seen any indication that either Sowore or any other protester is in contempt of court. I have read a copy of the order parroted by the police, made, by the, I use the word parroted advisedly, because in the order by the Honorable Justice G.M. Umar of the Federal High Court Abuja, my Lord essentially made about 4 orders. In the first order, the judge restricted protesters from certain places. In the second order, the judge circumscribed the time within which the defendants are supposed to respond to the suits filed by the police. He had breached the time. That is, he limited the time that they are supposed to respond to 9 a.m. on Monday the 20th. The third order made, interestingly, I want you to take note of this. I have the order here in my cell phone. I can even read it out to you. The third order of the learned judge is very interesting. It says, the order of this court, together with the motion on notice, be served on the respondents today, Friday the 17th of October 2025. The vote is case adjourned to 20th October 2025. This is the order of the court. I am willing to provide this to you for you to see it. What does this mean? What this simply means is that when the learned judge made this order, the judge knew that by law, an order of court is binding on a party or a person if certain preconditions are met. Number one, the person that the order seeks to bind must be a party to that action. Secondly, the order must be served on that person. So the judge was not mistaken when my lord ordered that the order be served on the police. As I am having this interview this morning with you, today, the 24th day of October, neither Sowore nor any other protester was served by the police with this order, either on the 17th of October, Friday, as ordered by the learned judge, or even as at this moment. So technically, they cannot say that Sowore has breached an order that has not been served on him. But assuming that the order was even served.
So Mr. Effiong, the arrest of Mr. Sowore and others is an exercise in illegality by implication of what you have read and explained to us now. Am I correct?
It is not only illegality. It is an act of executive recklessness, because they are saying, and don't forget that the basis upon which this said order was made is the application filed based on the deposition of the police. The police went to court through their counsel. That is, the police submitted itself to the jurisdiction of the court, got an order which they have not fulfilled. If anyone is in contempt of the order of the Federal High Court, it is the Inspector General of Police and the Nigerian Police Board that is in contempt.
All right. Let's assume that this order was served on any of the protesting parties now. Mr. Hundeyi has led us to believe that the other arrested members of the protesting team explained that it was Mr. Sowore that led them to protest in those areas restricted by the court, and that explains why they had to arrest him. Are you suggesting that, by your explanation now, that Mr. Hundeyi was lying? Because you have said that you don't have it, you don't know for sure that they approached or infringed on the court order, that they didn't approach any of these areas, the court, the Supreme Court, the Aso Villa, the police headquarters, National Assembly. So is Mr. Hundeyi lying?
I think I will not say lying. He's still my friend. I will say that he's entirely mistaken. He's misguided. Mr. Benjamin Hundeyi is only speaking to please his bosses. He knows that what he's saying is not the correct position. Now, when those individuals say Sowore led them in a protest, is that a crime in Nigeria to protest or to lead people in protest? And I needed to address a point because I don't want Nigerians to just trivialize this issue. I have seen the first information reports that the police has filed. Let me show you how embarrassing this whole drama is. Guess what? In the charge that they have filed against the other individuals, which I believe is the same charge they are going to file against Sowore, or the first information report, you know what they are alleging? They are alleging that they have violated Section 152 of the Penal Code. What does Section 152 of the Penal Code provide for? Disobedience of order duly promulgated by public servants. If I could just quickly read what it says to you. Whoever knowing that by an order promulgated by a public servant legally empowered to promulgate such order, he is directed to abstain from certain acts or take certain action with respect to certain property in possession or under his management. This law they claim they have violated is if you flout an order made by a public servant, and you don't only flout it, you knowingly flout it in respect of certain property. This law, the disobedience the police is alleging in court, is in respect of property, whether it is a house or a vehicle or some other chattel. So when they say that they are taking a case to court, this is just a clear abuse of the legal system. The law under which they are claiming these individuals have violated, including Sowore, has no correlation, no connection with what actually took place, which is the protest.
Ms. Inibehe.
I don't understand what they are saying. It simply doesn't make any sense to me.
All right, Ms. Inibehe, let's further unpack a few things. I've seen the court order, as you've promised to do so. I see that the Honorable Judge did not stop the protest. What the Honorable Judge did was to restrict, as expected, as maybe the police puts it to them to, as the brief the police sent to maybe the relief sought from the court, said, the respondent are hereby restrained in the interim from protesting in the following areas. The listed Aso Rock Villa, anywhere close to the Villa, the National Assembly, the Force Headquarters, Court of Appeal, Eagle Square, and Sheikh Shagari Way, pending the hearing of the motion on notice. So, first, I can see here that protest was not stopped by the court, that areas were restricted where protests could occur. On the other hand, of course, it's an ex parte, but let's talk about the law here and what is the premise. So I can also see here that the third order said the order of this court, together with the motion on notice, be served on the respondent today, Friday, October the 17th, which was that day. So now you're saying that, or you're claiming that the order was not served as instructed by the court. What happens in law if an order was to, if this was to be served on the respondent and they were not served? Does it stop them from carrying out their protest?
Excellent question. But let me quickly inform Nigerians. The places that I know verifiable, and you had correspondents who covered this protest, that this protest actually took place, are Utako, Apo Mechanic, Gudu Junction. I think some persons went to Transcorp. But these are the places identifiable that this protest actually took place. I am not aware that the Eagle Square is in Utako, that Court of Appeal is at Utako, that the other places listed in the order are either in Utako, Apo Mechanic, or Gudu Junction, or even those who went to Transcorp. I'm not aware, right, that any of these places. You can look at the order. You have the order before you. Transcorp was not listed. Look at it. You have the order.
So, Inibehe, where were they?
I'm saying that.
My apologies. In addition to your response, the people that the police arrested, I'm sure when people are arrested and they are entering their document, it will be stated where they were arrested. Have you been able to see that as well? Because the claim of the police, which you have rightly put and which this order is saying they were restricted, is that these persons went to protest in areas that the court has said, don't go near those places. Do your protest anywhere else, but not here. The police say, we've arrested certain persons who went to these places, and they are all mentioning Sowore that led them. So, for fairness, they had to bring in Sowore. So, did they arrest these persons anywhere apart from these places?
When it comes to the Nigeria police force, and I say this with all sense of responsibility, and filing charges in court, the police lies for a living. I have seen this case after case. I can give you litany of cases, including the ones I have been involved with, where police will make averments in court that are completely false. Perjury has become part of the Nigeria police. So if they are going to file a charge on a false information report to say, I mean, it doesn't even make sense. You covered the protest. China Civic covered the protest. Did you see Sowore at the villa? Did you see Sowore at the Court of Appeal? Did you see Sowore at the Eagle Square? But assuming that they even protested at those places, which is a question you asked previously, can they be prosecuted? The answer is no, because the procedure in law for punishing contempt is clear. And this contempt, they are alleging, arises from a civil action filed by the same police. If a party disobeys an order of court, the only authority, the only institution that has jurisdiction to inquire into the allegation of that disobedience is the court that make that order. How do you do that? You simply file a motion before the court to commit that person to prison. So what the police has done, assuming without considering that the protest actually took place in those places, is resorting to serve help. The judge who made this order has not been informed that his own order has been violated. The police has not taken the steps required by law for the enforcement of that order. So for you to file a charge based on section 152 of the Penal Code that is in respect of property, if a property is in your possession or in the possession of another person, and the court says don't enter that property or hand over that property and disobey, and you disobey that order, then you can be prosecuted. To bring a charge under a section of the law that has no connection with what we are dealing with, it is a sign of executive recklessness. I would have said illiteracy. The police has a retinue of lawyers. I mean, look at the number of lawyers from the police that were just called to the bar. The IGP received them. Is this not an embarrassment to those colleagues of mine? Looking at, listening, watching how the police, the institution that they are part of, is embarrassing our country, is jeopardizing the legal system, and making mockery of everything. So, number one, I want to place on record, I am not aware that the order was violated, and I have challenged you. Show me evidence that this order was actually violated. Number two, we cannot even speak about violation because the condition precedent to the applicability and the enforcement of that order, which the court acknowledged in number 3, which you have read, is that that order must be served on the respondents on the 17th of October. They did not serve that order. That order was not effective. That order cannot be said to have been violated. And assuming they even served, I have shown you, I have explained to you, that the correct approach in law is to go back to the judge that made the order.
All right. Mr. Effiong, as we wind down now, the President's Senior Special Assistant on Media, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, has been speaking on the participation of Mr. Aloy Ejimakor in the protest. I'm quoting from his verified Twitter handle now, X handle. He said, as a lawyer, you should be aware of the principle of sub judice, particularly in relation to the ongoing treason case before the court. The prosecution has concluded its case, and it's now incumbent on Mr. Ejimakor and the other lawyers to mount a strong defense for Kanu. He said, rather than focus on preparing a strong case, Mr. Ejimakor has resorted to extra legal tactics. joining a career anarchist to influence the process. Was it wrong for Mr. Ejimakor to participate in the protest?
What was he protesting? That is the first question. You know, in this country, we sometimes listen to some of these public officers and we cannot but be amused. When Mr. Onanuga made that comment, did he tell you what Mr. Ejimakor was protesting against? Was he protesting against the judge? The answer is no. Was he protesting against the witnesses listed that testified against Kanu? The answer is no. Was he even protesting, right, against the trial of Kanu? Can you show me one video where Mr. Ejimakor made a comment prejudicial to the trial? There is no provision. And I want a lawyer in Nigeria to come and contradict me. Because I listened to some of my colleagues, including some senior advocates of Nigeria, quite sadly, come on television to mislead Nigerians. I am putting it on record this morning that there is no law, there is no provision of the Rules of Professional Conduct for Legal Practitioners 2025 that prohibits a lawyer that is involved in litigation from commenting on that litigation, from commenting on that suit. What our rules of conduct, rules of ethics, prevents is making comments prejudicial to the case. That is comment that tends to preempt the outcome or that tends to basically take over the conduct of the case. So assuming that Mr. Ejimakor had, during the protest, granted an interview and said, for example, oh, this judge that is trying Nnamdi Kanu, I can put it to you, is biased. This judge has been compromised. The witnesses, we are going to deal with them. The witnesses are not credible. The exhibit that was tendered was fabricated. If he had made those comments along those lines, one can maybe suggest that he had made comments prejudicial to the trial. That is why when you see serious cases take place, right, cases of public interest after the hearing, you will see the media. You have judicial correspondence. Go to the Federal High Court this morning after you are done interviewing me. Go and you see lawyers that have concluded cases of public interest. They address the media. It is not strange. It is not a violation of the law. It is what you say that matters. But let us even take the conversation further. Are you saying that because he's a legal practitioner, his right to freedom of expression under Section 39 is extinguished? Are you saying that he has no right to express himself, to articulate his position as a Nigerian because he's a counsel on record to Nnamdi Kanu? I think what we are seeing is a further shrinking of the civic space. Let me I don't know how much time I have, but let me, in rounding up, make this point. Recently, the media has been awash, right, by this quite sad news, unfortunate news, that some soldiers have been arrested for allegedly planning to stage a coup. I believe you have seen those reports. The question is, we don't want a coup in Nigeria. The point is that we don't want any coup in Nigeria. I'm totally against it. But can you say today that the Tinubu regime, the Tinubu government, has not waged a coup against the constitution of our country? That can you tell me this morning that there is no coup against the democracy in this country? Because the moment you begin to say people cannot protest in the villa, people cannot protest in the Eagle Square, people cannot protest Sheku Shagari Way, do you want Nigerians in Abuja to go to Sambisa Forest to protest? Do you want people to go to the forest to protest?
All right.
This is a clear indication that this government has no respect for the rule of law. Look at the No Kings protests in US. Millions of Americans took over a lot of places in the US. Go to the White House today, you can find Americans protesting. Go to number 10 in London. You can find people in UK protesting in front of the Prime Minister's residence. What is sacred about the villa that Nigerians cannot protest? What is sacred about the National Assembly? If I cannot go to the National Assembly to protest, where am I supposed to protest? This Tinubu presidency, here is a president who took part in protests. Here are people in power, the APC, that came to power based on protests. Today, they are criminalizing protests, they are stigmatizing those who are holding placards, while the same government is romancing bandits that is using AK-47 to kill Nigerians, giving amnesty to criminals while attacking people that are holding a placard. This is not how to build a democracy. You cannot say you want a democracy, you don't want a coup, and at the same time, you are attacking the legitimate right of Nigerians to protest. Let the government be serious. Let us stop this weaponization of the legal system, trivialization of the rule of law, making a mockery of the judicial system. Enough is enough. Nigerians must be respected. The rest of Nigerians to respect themselves is sacrosanct.
Make we also hear as this active voice take chook mouth inside this matter. After that, I go give una back to back as Mimi Yakigar, our own Mimi Yakigar, as she take analyze them.
I won't say I'm doing fine because I can't be fine in a system that impunity has been entrenched as an institution on its own, where an IGP who charged minors for treason because they were asking for good governance, killed peaceful protesters, had the shameless temerity to ask Amnesty International to stop lying about what they did, and National Human Rights Commission reported. And such IG today believes that he has been insulted because Sowore called him illegal IGP. But you can also, I think Nigerians can all see that he's advertising publicly his illegality and illegitimacy. But the important thing is not even just the IGP, it's the system. We cannot continue in such a system and hope that our future holds the dream of Nigeria we have in our minds. Impunity reigns, there will be no progress. And that is why it is very important for all Nigerians to realize this point, there is no sitting on the fence. It's not allowed. We must all rise up and hold these leaders accountable and responsible at all times. Revolution now.
But Rex, some say the police have done the right thing by taking the case to court. Why are you against this move by the police?
Is there any right thing that the police has done from the inception of the APC in this country? Not even today. The police at itself was set up as a constabulary for the royal business of England. And since then till now, they have just been about guiding the bourgeoisie, the elite class. It has never been about policing Nigerians. What of Okoya's son that was spraying money? Has he been charged to court? The videos flying everywhere with the policemen scaling fences with masks, have they been investigated? The ones that one lawyer was killed 2 years ago with her pregnancy of twins, what happened to the policeman? The one who raped a lady inside the police station, what happened to him? So let's stop deceiving ourselves by saying they have done the right thing. There's no right thing about injustice. What they are just doing is normal drama that we are used to. And if we keep deceiving ourselves and expect that these same people who are unrepentant will do the right thing, then we're not ready about our future. Look at Nigerians jackbarring every day. It's not because they don't love this country. They are losing faith, not even in the present, in the future. And some of them are ready to go and wash bomb for their children. So we cannot continue. I don't have anywhere to go to. I don't even have the money to start facilitating Jackpa. So if I'm here in this country, it's my country. I should feel free. I should have human dignity in my country. How can you imagine children being shot at with life ammunition for asking that we want good governance? Charged to court for treason. Such a country should tell you that even your own News Central, this is News Central, your journalists were attacked in Lagos on air. What did you do about it? What did the police do right about it? Did they charge those people to court? They are the ones who use the same hoodlums around us. So the only problem we've been having in this country since is one, ignorance, and two, fear. When people say they divide us with religion, ethnicity, and that, if we are knowledgeable enough, religion and the rest will not be our problem, because in the Senate House, in the National Assembly, Christian, Muslim, Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, they all dwell there. They share SUVs without any problem. When people increase their constituency allowance, they forgot their party lines. They were all singing on your mandate we shall stand. What about us? We, these oppressed people, when we decide that we too want to be united, already our sufferings are uniting us. Look at hunger, look at fuel, look at groundnut oil. So we must come to that point where we, you, the media, the security agencies, the civilians, must realize that Nigeria's liberation has become a responsibility for us.
Now let me just cut you short here.
Yes.
Let me cut you short here. You made some demands. Can we get one or two of those demands?
We want, first of all, we must stop rewarding impunity. IGP Egbetoku should resign or be fired. The other PPRO, who is very, very unprofessional, should Ademuyiwa something jobby. He should be Prince Moyewan on Twitter. He should resign or be fired from that position. He's bringing serious disrepute to the Nigerian states. Then Omoyele Sowore should be released unconditionally and immediately and be apologized to, very importantly. So we want to send a very clear message to the government that it's not just about Sowore. Nigerians are tired. There are just a lot of them who are so scared. They don't want to die. They don't want to. But already, if you look at people who have died from banditry, kidnapping, and terrorism, it's more in just the last 3 months. It's more than the people who have died from protesting since 1960.
So Omoyele Sowore was arrested earlier today, and yes, that was right outside the Federal High Court in Abuja, moments after attending proceedings connecting to Nnamdi Kanu's case. Cameras captured him being bundled into a police vehicle. And the Federal Capital Territory Police Command confirmed this arrest. The reason is that Sowore allegedly led protesters under the Free Nnamdi Kanu Now banner into what they called a restricted zone. According to the police sources, he and others defied a lawful order and disturbed public peace. Now, these are the exact same offenses the first set of 13 protesters were charged with earlier in the week: incitement, unlawful assembly, and disturbance of public order. So Sowore's name is said to have appeared in their statements, and the police said they couldn't charge the followers without charging the leader. That is a line of argument, but whether that holds in court is another matter entirely. Now let's come to the twist. Barrister Ejimako, Nnamdi Kanu's counsel, who was also arrested, and at the same time, Bayo Onanuga from the presidency began accusing him of sub judice conduct. In legal English, sub judice simply means commenting or acting on a case that is still before the courts. But here's the truth. There is no official court document that says Ejimako has been charged for that. It is not a standalone offense. It's an allegation, maybe a warning, or a political jab at best. So yes, Ejimako has been detained, but his file does not carry sub judice as a crime. So what we are watching right now isn't just law in action, it is power in motion. So if you step back and look closely, this pattern is bigger than Sowore or Ejimako. It is a message, because when the system begins to label protests as disturbance and criticism as misconduct, it's no longer about public order, it's about control. In this movie before, one person speaks up, they are arrested, another joins, they are silenced, and eventually everyone gets the memo. Don't talk. That is why, rather than getting excited about who was picked, Nigerians should be worried about what this signal represents. Because today is Sowore, tomorrow it's another who holds a placard or retweets a post that the state doesn't like. And here's the hard truth. Once the system is done breaking the first 13, the first bold few who stood up, the rest of us become like puppets. Then we start whispering our anger and we start calculating our conscience. Because Sowore's arrest isn't just about protests, it's about the space left for dissent in Nigeria. And of course, Ejimako's allegation isn't just about sub judice, it's about fear of accountability. So if you're watching this and clapping saying, serves them right, pause for a moment, because every time we justify injustice against another person, we make it easier for the same system to reach us tomorrow.
And that will be the last for this edition. I appreciate all our new followers. We just join us. We promise you bumper package for this channel. Always. I beg, subscribe, like, and comment on all our posts, because for the next episode, we go show now how they take arrest Omoyele Sowore and what's going to happen. Bye.